true.
Milgrim reminds me a lot of Barry Rydell. Is there some sort of genesis there or connection?
Well, they're both hapless anti-heroes. You know, they're like sort of helpless protagonists. Rydell is a different sort of construct because he has so much of the traditional genre hero in, well, not exactly in his, well, perhaps in his makeup, but it's also something he aspires to. He's a naive character. He's much less thoroughly emotionally drawn than Milgrim, I think. You have less sense of his interiority and how he ticks. You just see him acted out in a tragicomic way. Whereas with Milgrim, I don't really claim to fully understand Milgrim's personality, but more of it is revealed with Rydell. Basically, I don't think I could write a straight hero protagonist. And I've never done it. I can't, I'm increasingly unable to write a straight villain either. I think that I'm starting to see that the villain of the piece, really, in all my books, is basically just the way the world is. Yes, they're in the answers.
Hi. It's a little bit of a follow-up to this one. The character of Milgrim in the previous book, in Spook Country, felt the dynamic between him and Brown felt a little bit like Rizzo and Joe Buck in Urban Cowboy. This kind of he was kind of this downgraded character, following along, following orders. In this one he seems so different. What's the image you have of him?
Well, he's gotten sober. He's clean for the first time. For the first time in a decade, and most of what passed for his pathology, what passed for his personality in Spook Country was just pathology. That was sort of all that was left of him, and he was a perfect victim. And I was very glad to see him free of Brown at the end of Spook Country, but I didn't have much hope for where his life was going. He was going to run out of his $3,000 Hollis's dead bass player's money, which he had stolen, and then he'd be back where he started. And when you encounter him again in Zero History, something's happened, and he's very different. But he's also sort of tentative. He's gradually arriving. His bandwidth of humanity is increasing a chapter at a time, really.